Al, you want to kick us off with Finance Committee?
Okay. We got the treasurer's report, capital reserve. Did we get those today? Treasurer's report, we got this.
So treasurer's report, I'll get the full report to you in your packet for the board meeting.
Board meeting, okay.
But the others are in there.
Capital reserve fund. Capital projects fund. Cafeteria fund. Now, they're not in this packet, they're in what you emailed us.
Yes. Yep.
Anybody have questions on this? Anthony, anybody? The activity fund reports for athletics and the elementary activity fund. Any questions on those? Check registers. Half of them are 55,000. One of them's 222,000. Any questions on that? Heather's not here. Heather's there. Yeah. Can you hear us okay? Heather?
She has to find
She
her
can
mute
hear
button.
us, but-
I can hear you when you're looking up, but when you're looking down, I can't hear you.
Okay, because
You're kind of mumbling over there.
I struggled when I was virtual. I struggled to hear
yeah.
anybody. So that's why I asked. I don't
I
know,
just
the
worked on my
microphones,
volume.
do we have more microphones, or do you think that would help?
We have more microphones ordered, and it would help, yes.
We just haven't
Because
got it.
If we
when I
could
was
just get
virtual,
those.
it was hard. I mean, not that I want to be virtual, but
Right. Well, you want to be in California
I know.
or Washington.
yeah. Okay, well, those things, our total is $603,278.90. MHE, athletic interest, they must have done something for $35,000.
They have the preliminary design, and he wants to set up a meeting, so we'll have to come up with some dates. So he wants to, Mike Lemereau wants to come to present.
Anytime.
Would it be at a board meeting night, or just?
We could do it any night. I
Even
mean,
before board meeting would be convenient, but,
yeah,
you know, because we're all here anyway, that way we don't have to get everybody.
Well, one thing on that, while we're talking MHE, so are they done with everything with the auditorium for us?
no, we're still waiting on a piece.
I know we're still waiting on stuff.
Yeah,
but-
so the GR Noto is the only one that we haven't closed out, the
Okay.
electrical. So they won't pay them their retainage or their final installation until that board is installed.
Any word on where
So
that's at?
we actually do have it now. So it had been here actually for a couple months, but it had been stored with all of our audio equipment that was waiting to be installed. So, but we don't finalize the project until they come out and provide the training and the setup. So,
But we've had the equipment for a couple months, you're saying?
I think it was probably delivered over the summer and stored away with audio equipment. Mr.
Yep.
McMahon, Mr. McMahon tracked it down. So, and he's not here to
Defend
explain
himself.
where it was, but it had gotten put in that back storage closet. But they still need to come and provide it.
I would think that'd be after their money.
I would think so too, because we've been holding it.
And they're coming the 17th?
Yes, yeah, I know it's scheduled, and Mrs. Linder will be there. It'll be available for our drama team for them to use it. So, so November 17th. So we're 2 Thursdays from now. We're hoping to finalize it.
Yeah. You should probably let the superintendent know
Yes.
that we found that.
Or that we even had it, huh?
We're gonna see some cool Christmas plays in on.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, Hal.
It's okay, good. Booster Club audit,
So
we haven't got that yet.
we
That's
haven't gotten it
next
yet.
day that, till
Yeah,
next month.
I just got a text from
Yeah.
Christy Dickinson that it will be December when it arrives.
Oh,
Yeah.
so not,
Yeah.
not this month, okay. Budget development calendar, I don't know that on our list
We'll have that provided to you next meeting, or next week.
next week, okay. Okay, agreement for Affordable Care Act reporting service from Conrad Siegel.
So that was included in the email that went out. So CSIU is no longer providing ACA reporting out of they had a system, Fox Pro, moved to CSIU FIS. They're no longer providing that service, and so we need to find another vendor to provide ACA reporting.
Yeah.
And Conrad Siegel is the option that was presented at our NTIC consortium meeting.
But, yeah, what that is, there's an IRS form 1094 and 1095C, and it reflects, under the Affordable Care Act, there's a return for each employee that is full-time for you, the months and the type of coverage that they're provided. So, it ends up being a few hundred pages long. But the FIS system wasn't able to provide that data in an import to fill out those IRS forms. But we use Conrad Siegel as our administrator for the Northern Tier Insurance Consortium. So usually we get the information from them, and then we upload it to the financial package, and then we print the forms, but they have the information. So if they provide it to us, it's essentially having a step out of the process. So they would be providing us the information for those employees anyway. So we're just having them do that piece. So.
Okay, adoption resolution for Act 57. Have anything on that, Doug, or is that?
So Act 57
Yeah.
is a new state law that requires all taxing authorities to adopt a resolution essentially stating that if you are a new property owner and you did not receive you claim you did not receive your tax bill, you are able to pay it. Well, you need to sign in at a station form saying that you didn't receive it, and then you can pay it upfront without any penalty.
At phase.
At face,
Because the current tax code stipulates that a property owner owes tax as if they had been notified. So it didn't matter if you got a property tax bill or not, or a reminder, you were responsible for paying it on time. So this law just essentially cuts that out and says, if you claim that you didn't get it, we'll take your word for it and you
This,
pay it fixed.
this was for a new property owner situation.
Yeah, or a transfer of
Anybody,
property.
I guess.
Yeah. But the penalty portion of the tax, when we have tax payments set up, and you probably know about this,
I tried to
they
get one out.
They kind of get difficult and convoluted. Lance and I were talking, we looked over a number of years of collection, and it might just be time that we consider eliminating the penalty period.
I think you have
Because
some
our,
collectors probably clapping with that statement.
yeah, we don't collect that much. Over a tax collection of more than 7 million, you're looking at less than maybe 30,000. And when we eliminated that during the COVID period by resolution, our on-time collection actually increased. So there are a few taxpayers that that penalty becomes onerous and they don't actually pay their taxes because there's a penalty attached. So that might be something that we could investigate, and it would just make collection easier. There would be a discount period and the rest would be at face. And then those people that make the payments, they would have consistent payment throughout the entire period.
There's still a penalty though, right? We just entered penalty phase, correct?
Yeah, this year.
This year.
Yeah,
This is for this year.
but, yeah, but we're talking about a future year, so, you know, that would be something that,
But we have to adopt this, or a
Yeah.
resolution on Act 57 before January 9th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my question. So Act 57, is that new property owners? Is that new transfer
It's for
titles?
one time only new
Yeah.
property owners.
Yeah, because I can see, I mean, you're probably seeing signing a million documents that can get missed. Okay, I see why that is, okay.
yeah, now, generally, we have, you know, we have law offices that call us up and ask for certification of tax payment. And fortunately, we carry duplicate books here, so we know the date and the amount that any payment was made, so generally we can take care of that pretty quickly. But
Thank you.
yeah, it just gets convoluted, I think.
Okay. Agreement for the last IU-17 voice service?
Yeah, so we use Blast IU-17 as our VoIP provider for our phone services. They are offering an E911 compliance service, and that's the primary reason for this new agreement. There have been updates to the law requiring that phone systems, when major system upgrades occur, they now need to be compliant with Carey's Law and Ray Baum's Act. So Carey's Law is a law that requires that any multi-line telephone system, if you pick up the phone and dial 911, you get 911. You don't have to dial 9 and then dial out. And so we're already compliant with that. Ray Baum's Act is a requirement that if you make a major system upgrade to your phone system, that after that upgrade, if you dial 911 from any extension, that there's extra information sent on to dispatch that's useful. So, so right now, if you right now our phone system is grandfathered in the way it is, but we would like to sign up for this service, and then the upgrades that would be made by the IU would make it so that no matter what room you called out from, 911 dispatch would get that information as well, like down to the room level.
So they would know if they called from the auditorium or the cafeteria or something like
Yeah, and I mean, our phone system, because we're small enough, our phone extensions and our phone system is set up so if the extension that it comes from tells you where the room number is as well, but there would just be additional information. And then the IU would be, as part of this agreement, they then, become responsible for ensuring that information is dispatched. So then they become responsible for, if we need to add an extension, for example, it would have to flow through them, so that way that 911 compliance is impacted.
Approval agreement with PlaySite or PlaySite 8K, Smart Court System, Sportscast.
So that's the multi-camera live streaming system that the board approved in the budget season last year. The way PlaySite, when we met, Mr. Sullivan and I went through some options. Went with PlaySite. That was actually a company identified by Mr. their system, it's really not buying the hardware, it's actually buying the service that they offer, live streaming and sort of video analysis that you can get highlights automatically out of. And so it's a multi-year agreement, so we had to bring it to the board in order to move forward with it.
What's that cost?
The smart court system is $6,250, $6,250, and the sportscast is an additional $500 a year. So if you,
$7,000.
yeah,
So
$7,000.
that's very reasonable.
Yeah, it's actually less than what we had budgeted, and then with this agreement, we can lock in that price for 4 years, which I think is a wise decision under the circumstances.
So it's turning it on, nobody has to manage it.
Right.
I was gonna say, so it's not
It-
software, as soon as we sign, we can start?
So they do need to ship us a camera
Oh,
system, but I've been told it is in stock, and basically as soon as they receive payment, it would be shipped
Now, that's be $7,000 a year for those 4 years.
for those 4 years. We have an option after, I went back to him and said, hey, what if the board's not interested in, locking themselves in for 4 years? And they said, well, we can give you an option to opt out after year 2. So I did ask them to include that. That way, after 2 years, if we as an organization decided, you know what, we don't want to continue with it, we could opt out, no penalty. But they wouldn't do that. I asked them why they couldn't do it for 1 year. They said that, a lot of the costs, they can't just do 1 year and recoup the costs on their hardware. So we'd have an option after year 2 to opt out if we so chose.
And that's still all within the budgeted amount that we talked
Oh, yeah.
about during budgeting season, so.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be great.
And you could go to the website and check it out, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, they're in, I said 2/3 of NBA teams use their equipment. They just had a big deal with Stanford University to install their systems across many of their sports facilities. They are used in high schools as well, so it's not like it's just colleges and professional teams, but
We're gonna try to recoup any of that cost, or is this always gonna be free?
I think that was the plan.
yeah, I mean, we can, so with this system, we can stream to any platform we choose. We could continue streaming to, you can use their streaming platform, but you can also point the videos to our YouTube channel.
What about third-party advertising?
Yeah, you could start to, that's where that's
Yeah.
what I was getting to. We could start
Somebody
to,
local wants to run an ad,
Mhm.
I don't know if that was something that could.
I know,
Not another schools do that?
Athens School District runs advertisements on their,
Just a
their
virtual
sports
billboard
cast.
on the baseball fence.
Yep,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think that we would lose, those people who want to attend a live event are always going to attend a live event.
Sure.
With this, it actually keeps up if somebody has to work, if somebody's away. Grandparents, it actually increases viewership, I think. It may actually increase overall attendance down the line just because more people are interested.
No, I think that this was part of some of the stuff from the community survey that we got
Yeah.
back about being thankful for the streaming, so.
Yeah,
If it's something we already talked about for the dollar amount, we'll just get creative with the ads to try to pull in funds as if it was, an activity on grounds.
Yeah, I don't know that Mr. Solomon's reached out to other schools recently, but I know last year we were one of a handful of schools that had continued live streaming, and like you said, Anthony, I think it was well received, and so I think it's a good thing for us to find ways to continue to offer that.
Yeah, okay, any other questions, Andy? information donations from Hurley's and Between the Bridges for the TBIS SOAR program.
And this is just listed as informational because it's below the $500 threshold for board approval. But we want to make sure that we're recognizing the organizations in our community that are supporting us. So.
Good. Okay, any other? I'll be anxious to see how the streaming affects attendance after a while. I know with the PIAA events, we actually charge to have people stream, you know, soccer games like $600. And, you know, even if the school does, it's a lot more if
Right.
somebody not. But I know our attendance has gone down because of live streaming, you know, so.
Well, and that's something we could monitor, and you know, I did request that 2-year opt-out. So if we're not, you know, if we're not happy with the way things are rolling, we can opt out after 2 years.
Okay. Thank you, that's it, Anthony.
Thanks, Al. Moving on, Athletics and Health Committee. Item 1, the addition of some volunteer coaches, Jason Burke, Jason Dickinson, Dana Heinrich, and Jonathan Pedro. Anybody else? I know there was some talk of some other volunteers. I didn't know if there's any more. Anything else? Well, Ryan's not here, so.
I'm not aware of any
Not
completed
completed
applications.
packets yet.
Okay.
Yeah, if any come in this week, you know, we just need to make sure that we have all of their clearances.
And that's just what we're waiting on.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 2, recommendation to hire Brian Bear as a varsity boys basketball assistant coach. And then item 3, I believe, is our administration may make a recommendation to hire coaching staff blanket statement for Sunshine. So if a name were to appear by next Tuesday,
Yep.
we brought it up tonight, notifying that there may be more submitted from other things posted.
Do we have any coaching vacancies at this point, or is everything,
We do.
yeah?
The varsity wrestling cheerleading coach position is open. I know Mrs. Everlin and Mr. Sullivan are working to find a coach there.
I'd like to bring up another.
Sure.
Within the last professional contract, we added the event staff and the game manager, but we left by suggestion the bookkeeper and the clock or the timekeeper out, and they're being paid a $40 flat fee, and I'd like to make that at least equal to what the event staff and game manager is making. The problem is, you know, just like anything, we're finding it difficult to have staff and make it worth their time
Sure.
to come.
Well,
So,
there's something else, and I don't, it should fall within this.
yeah,
It's about busing. So we have the team, the coaches, but we've never had event staff per se, so the game manager, whoever. They travel with the team too, correct?
No.
No,
Well, the student managers, right?
yeah.
the sport, depending on the sport, the
Yeah.
Sure.
bookkeeper does.
And that's why I was saying, so event staff, so it's different positions for each one.
Mhm.
But they've never really been incorporated in like the busing and things like that, have they? Just out of curiosity, because I remember it just being coaches and students. And
No,
I
they sometimes travel along.
They wrap.
Yeah.
And sometimes
They
they
have-
drive themselves.
Yeah, cost.
I just want to make sure that they have the
Yeah.
option to be able to travel on the bus
They have.
versus having to
Yes.
drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I remember somebody, I don't remember seeing it in the handbook, but I've heard years past that they weren't allowed or couldn't. So, I didn't see it in the handbook, so if I didn't
Yeah.
see it, it just kind of assumed.
I'm only talking to, I mean, Deb hasn't done it for a few years, but I think she did the wrestling books for about a dozen years, and she always traveled with the team.
As long as-
Scorekeeper normally travels, but the
Yeah.
other event staff don't travel.
Yeah, it's
Your
just
clock
the
person wouldn't
goalkeeper.
travel.
Yeah, they wouldn't go to an away
Because
event.
it's-
Sure, sure.
The home team takes care of it.
But I'm just thinking of anybody that would be in a officiating position from our district, if they had to go to another, that they had the option to take the busing versus drive themselves at $4.20 a gallon. That's
So-
just my thought.
So with this, with the bookkeeper and the,
Yeah, what is the-
and the timekeeper, I would recommend at least 55, because they have greater responsibility than the event staff. And, we want to make it so people are willing to do these things, so.
Well, the issue you're having is someone who's normally a clock keeper or bookkeeper might say, I'm gonna be the event staff because they make more money, and then
And
you
you
don't
have to-
have people in there, so
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
like that
but-
idea though.
Other thing is I don't want to lose the volunteers we already have too,
Yeah.
Right.
you know? I don't have an issue with it. I'd like to add it to the agenda for Tuesday. You have any issue? Al? Greg? We'll make a motion on Tuesday.
And then when would that be effective?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay. Well, because I think like most of the time you wait until like the end of the season and then turn in all your dates.
Yeah,
So I didn't know.
I would make it so we could remunerate them right from the vote.
Next week's date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the event staff start now, anyway. We have more indoor sports now.
Anything else from you? Okay. That's all for athletics and health.
All right, for buildings and grounds, information, use of school facilities requests have been received from the following district activities. A, jousting presentations to the sophomore and senior classes on November 17th, 2022 in the high school auditorium from 12 noon to 3 p.m. We're good? Okay. B, cheer practice on November 3rd, 2022, November 7th, 2022, November 10th, 2022, and daily after November 14th, 2022 from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. in the high school cafeteria or the elementary cafeteria. C, preseason baseball practice and weightlifting from December 1st, 2022 to March 6th, 2023 in the weight room and high school gym based on availability during winter sports season. Item D, preseason basketball open gym from October 4th, 2022 through November 18th, 2022 in the high school or elementary gyms. Item E, preseason softball open gym from November 1st, 2022 to February 28th, 2023 in the high school gym or the elementary gym, hallways, and cafeteria as available during winter sports season. And last, other, I don't have anything.
Roof work. Is that done?
I'm sorry?
They had additional.
Did they finish the roof?
Yeah, they were in today to put up flashing, but I didn't see at the end of the day if they had completed it.
They get all the stuff out of the grass. I know they had like plywood.
Yeah,
down, so, like,
plywood,
going in and out.
yeah, like, I haven't been down to this end of the building since the end of the day, so I don't know if they collected it.
Sure, sure.
But I did see that they, they brought the materials to do the flashing. I was, we're on borrowed time here,
Mm-hmm.
We've had snow on the roof from this time till March some years, so I had Chris impress upon them that they need to finish it and get off the roof, because it could be any day now, so.
Just a quick comment on A, that's gonna be changed to the cafeteria because of the sound equipment.
Okay.
That was presented a few weeks ago, so.
Will that interfere with lunch?
No, it starts after lunch, so
Okay.
it's period 6 is when the meeting's in, so.
It's for caps, gowns,
The
class
tenth,
ring.
sophomores are for class rings and seniors are for their graduation announcements, caps and gowns.
So they moved the times too for A?
You can, it's okay.
It's flexible. Okay.
Cool. Curriculum?
Yep. Alright. Item 1, agreement with Bradford County Human Services Agency for the provision of Student Assistance Program SAP services. If anyone doesn't know what this is basically a service, I'm going to read from here, intended to provide identified students with screening and referral to interventions for confidential help to safely and effectively deal with situations that may be causing a barrier to learning. So definitely a good thing to have in place. Any questions? Heather, you good? Yeah, I think so.
Oh, well.
It's hard.
Yeah, I know.
That's tough.
2, approval of the proposal for the Valentine formal dance, formerly Winter Ball. So if y'all saw this, the date is Saturday, February 11th from 6 to 10 at Eaglesmere Country Club. I think you'd asked about that last time, Crystal.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great. And number 3, approval of the ski club trip to Vermont from February 26, 2023 to March 1st, 2023 at Stowe Mountain Ski Resort in Stowe, Vermont. There's details about that too in the packet.
It's a good educational trip. Ben
Uh-huh.
and Jerry's is right up the road. Learn all about how ice cream's made.
With number 2, with moving it to Valentine's Day, did that
It's-
just make it better for?
It's been
timing?
called winter formal, so it doesn't have to be at Christmas time. It's been in February, it's been in January, it's been in December.
Yeah.
It's just, they think it gets pretty hectic around the holidays, so trying to avoid that, and they pick Valentine's because that would have its own.
That's fine, I was just
Special.
wondering why, that's all, you know.
Yeah, it's been called winter ball, not a Christmas ball or a holiday ball, just so it could be, because sometimes we have trouble getting venues. And I think they just, when the date they got was around Valentine's Day, and they were, oh, it can be a Valentine's.
Is it right on?
No.
It's the 11th, that weekend.
Okay.
And who's that one open to again? What grade?
Traditionally, it's been open to 11th and 12th graders can invite down to 9th grade. The winter ball, the numbers of attendance there have gone down a little bit in the last couple of years. Of course, so has our, the number of kids we have in each class. So we talked about this a little bit last time, considering opening up to 10th graders can invite as well, but still only down to 9th grade can attend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's good having it at the country club because you don't have to travel so far instead of a venue like down in Williamsport or
It's a
some
great
other
venue.
place in the winter. Hmm?
It's a great venue.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
beautiful,
mean,
man.
It gives them a very formal setting that they feel like they're somewhere special.
And construction's all done, right?
Yeah.
Because last year it was
It was a mess.
heavily under
It was a
construction.
mess.
But they still did a nice job.
They can even have it out on the porch if they want. We got heaters out there now.
Uh-huh. I think we'll stay inside now.
Anyone have anything else under other? I think that's it then.
Personnel?
Number 1, request for parental leave for paraprofessional employee Danielle Williams. 2, addition to the list of approved event staff. 3, addition to the list of approved game managers. 4, administration may make a recommendation to add to the list of approved event staff, game managers, substitute custodians, substitute food service workers, substitute secretaries, and substitute bus drivers. And 5, if anyone has anything else.
How are you planning on backfilling
What's
the,
that?
the parental leave? How
What
do you
was-
plan on backfilling the parental leave? Is there something we can temporarily, or is everything gonna be all right?
Well, I think we need to post, like, once you receive this letter, that we post for
Okay.
an anticipated opening, and then we'd interview and fill.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not been that many contracts. I think just the last 2 contracts for the support staff that have even had maternity or paternity leave in the contract. So we just haven't had a secretary to this point. So it's something new for us, so.
Yeah, no, that's, I kind of was thinking how we handle it, 'cause I don't remember hearing this, so I didn't know if there's a temp staff.
You know, I'm sure there's secretaries now that think, where was it 20 years ago when I needed it, you know?
No,
So,
paid for paternal leave, you know, I wish that was there when I was young, but I'm glad people now have it, so.
Well, it's not paid.
yeah.
It's not paid.
Well, they can use their sick time.
They can use their sick time.
To-
Yeah,
so-
no,
Yeah.
the benefit's there so they don't lose their job.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's awesome.
And in their contract, it is equal to the professional's contract of 9 months now, where, you know, by federal law under FMLA, that, you know, every employee in an organization with 100 or more has 12 weeks. So, but both our classified contract and professional contract provide 9 months.
Didn't FMLA drop to, isn't it, well, it didn't drop, didn't it increase to 40% pay or something like that? Didn't FMLA change?
That was a suggestion.
I
That they
remember
receive
hearing it on the news.
partial disability payment, but that was just
talk.
pie in the sky
That's it.
kind of talk.
Yeah,
They did different things with FMLA during COVID.
yeah, maybe that's
They,
why.
they offered, there was some pay under COVID for certain circumstances.
Aaron's not here. However, policy and procedure has a other item only. Is there anything to discuss for policy and procedure?
We don't have any new policies by, submitted to us by PSBA right now for review, so.
Okay, unless anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, we can continue from policy and procedure.
Did you say there's none for the year?
No, just for right now.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was like.
No, not for the
They
year.
decided everyth's perfect.
Well, no, every time they change a law, but, I guess it's just a legislative session.
Yeah.
What's changed, so
Yeah.
I imagine it'll pick up again in January.
Yeah.
So.
All right, on to transportation. Heather, would you like Crystal to handle this?
If she would, because I only have the agenda printed out, I don't have the extra paperwork.
No problem. Crystal, do you mind taking transportation?
Okay, number 1, approval of a parent driver, and this is Lamont and Emily Kapik? Kopek? Okay, number 2, transfer of contracted routes, and this is Betty Hottenstein giving her contract, or transferring her contract to Ally McDonald. And 3, if anyone has anything else.
With that, that concludes all of our committees this evening.
I just want to make a comment with that transportation. It's always been practice in the district that when we have a transportation contractor, that they be allowed to transfer the contract to a member of the immediate family to keep that business going. So that's what you see there.